Honor orchestrated the reprinting of the book. It had been out of print since it was rushed into publication months after the crime. Mr. Rosenthal had been the Times Metropolitan editor in 1964 and broke the story thanks to a tip from then New York Police Commissioner Michael J. Murphy. 38 Witnesses is based largely on a follow-up piece Mr. Rosenthal wrote in the New York Times Magazine later that year. It is the only book he ever authored by himself. Eager to learn more about the case, I contacted Mr. Rosenthal directly. He was no longer at the Times and was working out of a modest office in Midtown Manhattan. I was quite nervous, as I was aware not only of his illustrious 60-year career at the Times, 17 as its executive editor, but also his reputation for not suffering fools. In its May 2006 obituary for Mr. Rosenthal, the Times described him as brilliant, passionate, abrasive, a man of dark moods and mercurial temperament. Our meeting went longer than I anticipated, and he could not have been more gracious. I was struck by his genuine interest in learning as much as he could about the woman known only to him for the way she died. He was apologetic for having been, as he writes in the introduction to the 1999 reprinting, interested only in the manner of her dying. I was surprised by how little he knew about the actual case, though I should not have been. 38 Witnesses is a book by a great reporter, but it is not actually reported. Instead, its potency is in its poignant and still resonant reflections on what it means to be a reporter, to bear witness. The HBO scripted project did not come to fruition, and my focus turned to other endeavors. Then, in 2004, the Times published an article by the freelance writer Jim Rasenberger on the 40th anniversary of Kitty Genovese's murder, raising questions about the accuracy of the newspaper's original 1964 account, what the witnesses saw and heard, even the number, 38 witnesses. Bill Genovese, who was transformed by the narrative of his sister's death, needed to find out for himself what actually took place that night. I approached Bill with the idea of documenting his investigation on camera, as I realized the most affecting way for me to portray Kitty's story would be via those who knew her best. After several conversations, he agreed to let me do so, though little did we know at the time filming would span a decade. At its heart, The Witness is a sibling love story about a devoted brother's determination, propelled by love and loss, to reclaim his sister's life from her death. Kitty's murder was so horrific and public, the Genovese family virtually erased her from their lives in order to cope. Thanks to Bill's encounters with those who knew her best, they, and we, meet Kitty the person, no longer merely the victim. A 20-something woman living in 1964, she emerges as a person one wishes they knew, bright, funny, and original, and a leader. She drove a red Fiat convertible and managed a bar where she was adored. She was a devoted daughter who came home many weekends and is still loved and mourned by her partner, Mary Ann. In The Witness, Bill meets Mr. Rosenthal, hosting Bill in his apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Their conversation takes place within a study filled with mementos that bespeak his extensive travels as a Pulitzer Prize-winning foreign correspondent. The paper, which he oversaw for nearly 2 decades, has only recently questioned the veracity of a story with which he has long been associated. A portion of their exchange, as it appears in the film, is as follows. A.M. Rosenthal: I was nauseated at the idea that people in New York City, in Queens, knew that a girl was getting killed, and later it was discovered 38 people didn't do anything. It was the failure of New York City, or the people of New York City, to take action. Stick out a hand. Do something. Bill Genovese: Right. Rosenthal: Shout, hey, we need help! And that was what grabbed the people of this city and other cities. Genovese: Well, where did the number 38 come from? I wonder, was it synthesized somehow to make a big impact? Rosenthal: No. Genovese: So that we could get for a positive result?